Good evening to you and a warm welcome to TV 47 News tonight. Glad you could join us. My name is Musa Salah. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Tonight, Migori Governor Okoth Obado is the biological father of Sharon Otieno's unborn child. Government analyst tells the court. Also tonight,
my name is Mwangi Maina and I will be informing you on everything that you need to know concerning the Kiamba by-election, as over 96,000 voters head to the polls tomorrow here in Kiamba constituency.
Plus, IEBC advertises tender for the supply of referendum materials despite ongoing court case on the Building Bridges Initiative bill. Welcome to the broadcast. Anne Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. TV 47 News tonight begins right now. More than 95,000 voters in Kiamba constituency are set to head for a mini poll tomorrow. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says all is set for the by-election. It is expected to be a two-horse race pitting Jubilee's Kariri Njama and UDA's Njuguna Wanjiku. Mwangi Maina is in Kiamba for us and now joins us live. Mwangi, how is the mood like in Kiamba constituency?
From Karuri Primary School. This is Karuri ward of Kiamba constituency. Remember, as I had said earlier during our 7 p.m. broadcast, that we are having 5 wards here in Kiamba constituency, where over 96,000 voters will be turning tomorrow to vote for their preferred candidate who will succeed the late Kiamba Member of Parliament, Paul Koinange, who passed away in the month of March this year. Remember, those 5 wards are Karuri, there is Sianda, there is Mushada, there is Dendero, and of course there is Kihara. Right now we are in Karuri Primary School. Actually, we are in one of the classrooms, but from tomorrow 6 a.m. it will cease from being a classroom to a polling station. And within Karuri Primary School, we are having 7 polling stations, and so people, or rather registered voters in Karuri ward, some of them will be streaming here from Karuri Primary School. Remember where we were earlier, it is just some few meters away from Karuri High School, which will be the main tallying station for tomorrow's by-election. As you can see here, probably if my camera person is in a position to show you what is happening, there is nothing much happening here, but we have followed the polling clerks from the main tallying center to here, to this place. So some of the clerks are just here. They will be spending their night here. It will be a very interesting night for them as they prepare for tomorrow's election. Remember, at exactly 6 a.m. they should have prepared everything. Right now, they have not yet set up the different desks, the different locations where every clerk will be positioned. Remember, IEBC usually has 7 clerks, but this time around they have introduced 1 clerk known as a COVID-19 clerk. So that means that any voter who will not adhere to the stipulated COVID-19 guidelines will not be allowed to the polling stations. Remember, the returning officer earlier in the day told us that all COVID-19 protocols, including washing of hands, sanitizing, wearing of masks, and maintaining the prescribed 1.5 social distancing rule, will be adhered to the latter. So Musa Salah, from tomorrow very early in the morning, we shall be here, of course, notifying you on what is happening as 8 candidates with a 2-horse race between Kariri Njama of Jubilee Party and Wanjiku, or rather John Njuguna Wanjiku of UDA are the main forerunners in this race, with 6 other candidates. And maybe to let you know that tomorrow very early in the morning, Kariri Njama will be voting in Sianda ward, in Kihara ward, whereas the UDA candidate will be voting in Sianda ward in a primary school known as Gatono Nursery School. And so we'll be here to keep you abreast, to keep you in tabs on what is happening. And right now we want to maybe to listen to what the returning officer said during the day, and of course some politicians, that is Sabina Chege, the woman member of parliament from Murang'a County, and the Secretary General for United Democratic Alliance, Veronica Maina.
Tunaomba watu wote ambao wana support candidate wetu watokee kesho, kwa sababu sisi tunajua tuko na ushindi, na si kwa sababu ati sisi ni chama ama nini, ni kwa sababu tuko na candidate ambaye ni mzuri sana. na ambaye amejiuza na ambaye amekuwa na wananchi hapa kwa ground. Kwa hivyo sisi tungeomba tuwe na peaceful elections siku ya kesho, na niombe watu wa Kiambaa wasikubali wale watu wanakuja kuwa incite, kuwaweka ile fear ama kuogofya wasitokee, kwa sababu nimeona kuna watu wengine wanaanza kusema maneno mengine ambayo wao wenyewe wanapanga kisha wanakuja hapa kutisha watu wa Kiambaa.
We have raised the concerns that we have noted surrounding the polling which is coming up tomorrow. There are several issues which we believe will be canvassed both by the returning officer, the IEBC, and also the security forces. First, we have noted there are very many police officers who have been deployed to come and superintend over the election day tomorrow. We hope they have been deployed to keep peace and maintain order in Kiambaa constituency, because we would not want a situation where the security forces make it very unconducive for voters to walk and vote and exercise their constitutional mandate to vote in their next member of parliament.
There is no term in elections called super agent. We only have two categories of agents. We have the chief agent who coordinates the other polling station agents or counting agents. And it is this chief agent who will also come to the tallying center to witness the final tallying. So there is no term as a super agent in our election laws, and we will not allow those super agents. We have discussed at length with the security. We have made our request on what we think is enough security, which is going to take care of our voters. About excess use of power, I don't know. I have not heard the complaint myself from anybody, but in case it happens, now the issue of law and order lies squarely with the county commander.
Well, Musa Sala, that is the returning officer for Kiambaa constituency, giving a brief on what is expected tomorrow. And as he has stipulated, only the agents for the candidates, or rather the aspirants, will be allowed in the polling stations. Remember, in the last by-elections, we are used to see super agents in the name of MPs and senators, but tomorrow they will not be allowed in the polling station. So only the agents of the political candidates will be allowed in this polling station. And as he has said, that the security has been beefed up in all the polling stations. So as I had said, we are in Karuri Primary School. It is one of the 154 polling stations that are here in Kiambaa constituency. So as I had told you, voters probably when they will be streaming in, this is hall 1, or rather polling station number 1. From the door there, they will be coming to the first desk where they will find one of the clerks, the clerks with the biometrics, with the KM's kit. They will proceed to the next clerk who will be issuing the ballot paper. The next clerk will be inking them after they complete voting. And so tomorrow in the morning, we shall be able to see the process of voting tomorrow. So we will be keeping you abreast on what will be happening here in Kiambaa. And it is a little cold rather here. And so we expect that tomorrow's weather, or rather that tomorrow's weather, will be favorable for this by-election. So back to in studio, Musa Sala. Enjoy your night. My name is Mwangi Maina from Karuri Primary School in Karuri Ward of Kiambaa constituency.
All right, be sure to stay warm, Mwangi. That is our reporter, Mwangi Maina, who is in Kiambaa constituency, just giving us a descriptive analysis of what transpired in the Kiambaa constituency earlier on in the day in preparation for the mini polls tomorrow. Our very own Grace Josephine will also be in Muguga Ward just to give us what will be happening there also tomorrow. Be sure to stay tuned to the county's television for that update tomorrow. Now, moving on to the corridors of justice, the court has been told that Migori Governor Okoth Obado sired late Sharon Otieno's baby as the hearing of the case involved the murders of Sharon and her unborn baby entered its third day on Wednesday. According to government analyst John Mungai, who was among those who took the witness stand, there was a 99.99% probability that the county boss was the baby's biological father. And as David Mudhoka now reports, that a hotel receptionist and a security guard also testified in the case in which Governor Obado and 2 other accused persons have been charged with the gruesome murders.
The trial proceedings of Migori Governor Okoth Obado, his personal assistant Michael Oyamo, and County Government Clerk Caspar Obiero in the murder of Sharon Otieno and her unborn baby resumed on Wednesday morning, with 3 witnesses testifying before Milimani High Court Judge Cecilia Githua.
Say it again. Some other individuals.
First on the witness stand was government analyst John Mungai, who testified that Governor Obado was the biological father of Sharon's unborn male baby.
From your experience, 30 years.
According to Mungai, the analysis that also focused on blood stains from a jacket, trousers, open shoes and other clothes belonging to Sharon found at the scene of crime indicated a 99.99% probability that the county boss had sired the baby. The results of the probe further revealed that semen samples collected from a condom that was obtained from the scene were of an unidentified male person, indicating that Otieno's suspected rapist is still unknown. This as the prosecution seeks to demonstrate how Obado, Oyamo and County Clerk Caspar Obiero created the opportunity, facilitated the crime and orchestrated the cover-up of the brutal murders. 2 more witnesses also testified, among them a hotel receptionist and a security officer. Veronica Wangeshi Wambugu was a receptionist at a Nairobi hotel when the murder took place, while Alex Omamo was an airline security officer in the days leading to Sharon's murder on 3rd September 2018. The former testified that she was involved in a crucial money transaction with a protection witness, while the latter testified that he saw Sharon in the company of the protected witness board a Nairobi-bound plane in Kisumu days to her murder. As the hearing of the Sharon Otieno murder case gains momentum, all eyes will yet again on Thursday be trained on the Milimani Law Courts, where more witnesses are expected to take the stand. David Mudhoka, TV47 at the Milimani Law Courts, Nairobi.
Well, thank you, David Mudhoka, for that report. Now, the search for 4 commissioners at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, entered day 6 today as 3 applicants defended their application before the IEBC selection panel. But the corruption scandal at the Kiambu County government that led to the ouster of former Kiambu County Governor Ferdinand Waititu came to haunt former Kiambu County Education CEC, Dr. Joseph Kang'ethe.
Good morning, Mr. Nga.
Day 6 of the interviews for the 4 positions at the IEBC.
Choka, Vice Chair of the panel.
Former Kiambu County Education CEC, Mombasa County Chief Officer and International Boundaries Secretary in the Office of the President were defending their suitability to serve at the electoral body. All the 3 defending their candidature to fill the vacancies at the electoral body.
Social services to separate.
First on the hot seat was Dr. Joseph Kang'ethe, a medical lecturer at the Jomo Kenyatta University and former Kiambu County Education CEC. Kang'ethe, using his experience in running the county affairs, to convince the panel that he will solve the confusion in the commission. However, corruption scandals that led to the ouster of former Kiambu County Governor Ferdinand Waititu, under who he served, came to haunt Kang'ethe, further revealing that he was once summoned by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
I remember I saw some of that function happening in Nakuru, and there was almost an altercation between a commissioner and the members. So I want to bring in sanity where, as far as possible, I can, in both the electoral process and the boundary delimitation process.
Next on the spotlight was Mombasa County Chief Officer Juliana Cherera.
2 good examples. And
her opinion to postpone next year's general election if the coronavirus disease is proven a danger during the polls, however, put her on the spot, despite her plans to continue with the preparations to hold the elections in August next year.
Taking into account that we only have less than 13 months to the general election 2022,
And according to you, elections should be postponed? Or you still feel it should be postponed, or you feel 13 months is reasonable enough to assess the position?
Thank you. I said that it can be postponed if life is threatened. But if that one aside, then we'll have to be abiding to the law. And our first law is the Constitution 2010, that elections are held after every 5 years.
The last applicant for the day was Secretary for International Borders at the Office of the President, Julius Kiplagat. The tech enthusiast has promised to use technology to stream real-time votes, but maintains that new constituencies can be created before August next year.
Remember that you can, if you alter the constituency boundaries within a period of 12 months, it will not be effective. It will be in the next election. So if we can be able to do it right now, we are not within that 12-month period. This is July, and the next election is August next year. So if we can do it as fast as possible, fine and good. It can be done within this, before August.
The search for commissioners to fill the 4 vacant positions at the IEBC will continue tomorrow.
Mr. Kimuli.
Well, it is time to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Remember, you can follow this live broadcast on www.tv47.co.ke. Do stay with us. Coming up. Chaos in the city as Nairobi University medical students demonstrate over the recent fee increment and the restructuring at the institution.
Students are tired. We are just in a COVID era where we have no money. And we're sleeping hungry. Comrades are suffering in the hostels.
But the management has effected the changes.
Why crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Miss Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we rove the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small size of land can suit just a big maisonette because you are going high.
How do you ensure you get the right finishes to bring out the aesthetic value of your property and make it not only look good, but also feel good?
The buyers in this area are the buyers who are able to pay cash.
Well, we have it right here on The Realtor on TV47, where we demystify building right here in Kenya and analyze the property industry for you to take advantage when acquiring your next piece of property.
Every February, we hear men joking about going to a men's conference on Valentine's Day. We laugh about it, the lucky ones end up having a decent Valentine's Day, and we move on. But what we do not know is that men actually do meet up. Men do sit down and have conversations about things that affect their day-to-day life.
Let me ask, does money make the man?
Give them the gifts, shower them with everything you want to shower them with, but keep your money to yourself.
I, for one, have always been curious as to what goes on in a man's mind, specifically an alpha male's mind.
Adam, yule kwa Biblia anasema ni mtu wa kwanza duniani. Wewe unadhani kama angekuwa hana yale matunda, hana ile garden yake pale ya kukaa, Angekuwa tu ni mdomo tu anamfuata hawa. Oya, mimi ni ada.
Welcome to the men's conference, where we make men alpha males. My name is Archie, the only female.
Of untold stories.
Welcome back. You're watching TV 47 News Tonight. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has kickstarted the Building Bridges Initiative referendum process amid a court battle. The electoral body placed advertisements in local dailies for tender applications to supply ballot papers for the general election and the referendum. Joash Onsari with the details.
In an advert in the local dailies, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission invited for international tender bids for a contract that will run for 3 years to supply election and referendum declaration forms and ballot papers, among other election materials. The move by IEBC to invite bid for referendum material raising questions from Kenyans at a time there is a legal battle over the Building Bridges Initiative BBI bill.
Because for such a high-ranking government official to come out and advertise for materials when Kenyans do not know the fate of the BBI itself is some sort of arrogance that as a country we need to relook at and ensure that we don't entertain such circumstances.
The Court of Appeal is set to deliver its ruling on the case that was filed to challenge the early High Court ruling that declared the BBI process null and void.
Whichever way the decision goes at the Court of Appeal, there will be a Supreme Court. So this is something that can drag up to October, even December. So, and because the courts have their own schedules. So if we are talking about October and we have not held a referendum, are you going to tell me that we'll hold a referendum in March next year when parties are already supposed to be doing nominations? Which kind of chaos are we trying to create for ourselves?
IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati, however, says the 3-year contract was for delivery of items for the general election. Chebukati, however, says in case the Court of Appeal rules in favor of pro-PBI, the electoral body will have just 90 days to prepare for the exercise. ODM boss Raila Odinga has been insisting that the BBI reggae is still on course despite the court battles.
Nobody can stop reggae, 'cause reggae's true.
Joash Onsare, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now, switching gears to matters education, chaos ensued at the Kenyatta National Hospital after medical students from the University of Nairobi took to the streets to demonstrate against an abrupt school fee increment. According to the student, the increment is unreasonable, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, as Zaina Mohammed now reports.
At the main road leading to Kenyatta National Hospital, chaos ensued as medical students from the University of Nairobi took to the streets to demonstrate against an abrupt school fee increment. The demonstrations that began as peaceful turned chaotic after police officers intervened using tear gas to disperse the demonstrators. At least 3 demonstrators were arrested.
It's not attainable with the economy at the moment with the pandemic to increase fee 3 times. The fees have been tripled. The previously courses that were going for 1 million, like surgery, orthopedic, and all other courses have gone to 3.5 million, and others 4 million.
The students say the decision to increase school fees was in bad taste due to the current state of the economy.
As medical students, we are not going to accept this incredulous move by the university. Remember, as students, we are the principal clients of the institution. We are the ones who pay for services.
To the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kiama, students are tired. We are just in a COVID era where we have no money. And we're sleeping hungry. Comrades are suffering in the hostels. Comrades are eating rats.
The students further claimed that all efforts to reach the university management and top officials from the Ministry of Health have borne no fruit.
The Ministry of Health, which is in charge of training and policy, has not come in to assist in the situation. They have instead celebrated with the increase of fee because that gives them opportunity to take more billions to Cuba and bring more specialists from Cuba.
They now want the government to intervene in the matter with a promise not to stand down. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Now, meanwhile, the University of Nairobi's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama, has effected some changes at the institution amid opposition to the planned restructuring. Mudhoni Maina has the details.
Professor Kiama, you involve us in the decision making, or else you'll go home.
Fees, and more fees is scoring higher and higher at the University of Nairobi, causing restlessness among comrades as they feel the pinch. Even as students continue to express their dissatisfaction, as chaos ensued at the Kenyatta National Hospital after UON medical students took to the streets to demonstrate against an absurd school fee increment, which led to a transport paralysis for a few hours. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama, did not touch on the increment of school fees as he addressed the new changes of the learning institution online that touched on better service delivery.
The devolution in the faculty level, ladies and gentlemen, will enhance efficiency and effectiveness and improve the way we carry out our business at the university. I beseech you all to accord them your utmost support.
The University of Nairobi on Friday announced that it is abolishing major colleges as it reorganizes all functions around faculties. The University Council has abolished 24 colleges, reducing the number from 35 to 11 to avoid duplication and functional overreach.
We are the ones who are capable of employing and firing them. Comrades, power! Power! We will not allow those structural changes to go on. You know why? Because the service delivery will be reduced.
Chair of Council, Professor Julia Ojambo, says the resultant governance and structural reforms envision new thinking that breaks down bureaucracy for the benefit of the institution's stakeholders. The management says that no member of staff has lost their job despite the reforms that were made, and instead announced new member positions to the council so as to ensure an effective administration process.
Acting Executive Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Mohammed A. Jama. Acting Executive Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, Professor John D. Mande. Acting Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Brian Ouma. In the spirit of people's reforms, we have already engaged all staff whose positions are affected and agreed on how they can continue serving the university. As your Vice-Chancellor, I'd like to confirm that during these reforms, no member of staff, both academic and non-academic, has lost their job.
Mudhoni Maina, TV47.
Professor Kiama, you involve us in the decision making, or else you'll go home.
Well, thank you, Mudhoni Maina, for that report. Now, let's head back to the corridors of justice. Chief Government Pathologist Johansen Oduor has informed the court that the injuries sustained by the late Koroche ARS Tekra Mugai were from both a blunt object as well as a fall. As well as a possible fall, of course. While testifying at the Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi, Oduor stated that Tekra's body had a major injury on the head with a minor bruise on left upper arm on the knees. Now, Milimani Principal Magistrate Zainab Abdullah had that the liver was fatty and moldy, while the scalp was grayish hemorrhage. On the issue of toxicology of Tekra, Oduor says that there were traces found on the liver.
Areas of bleeding of the brain.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. And you have cited the areas where there was bleeding, including the cerebellum, which you told us is the lower part of the brain.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
That's one of the fractures, mainly towards the left side of it, the right side. The other fracture, Your Honor, was in a region we called the petrous bone of the temporal lobe. Probably that's a bit inside.
is the Petra's bull. And as the word suggests, Your Honor, Petra simply means rock. You are familiar with that?
Well, that murder case takes us to a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.
Why crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Miss Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we rove the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV 47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small size of land can suit just a big maisonette because you are going high.
How do you ensure you get the right finishes to bring out the aesthetic value of your property and make it not only look good, but also feel good?
The buyers in this area are the buyers who are able to pay cash.
Well, we have it right here on The Realtor on TV 47, where we demystify building right here in Kenya and analyze the property industry for you to take advantage when acquiring your next piece of property.
Every February, we hear men joking about going to a men's conference on Valentine's Day. We laugh about it, the lucky ones end up having a decent Valentine's Day, and we move on. But what we do not know is that men actually do meet up. Men do sit down and have conversations about things that affect their day-to-day life.
Let me ask, does money make the man?
Give them the gifts, shower them with everything you want to shower them with, but keep your money to yourself.
I, for one, have always been curious as to what goes on in a man's mind, specifically an alpha male's mind.
Adam, yule kwa Biblia anasema ni mtu wa kwanza duniani. Wewe unadhani kama angekuwa hana yale matunda, hana ile garden yake pale ya kukaa, angekuwa tu ni mdomo tu anamfuata Hawa. Oya, mimi ni Adam.
Welcome to the men's conference, where we make men alpha males. My name is Archie, the only female allowed at the conference.
My name is Monica Nyashira Njogona. I am a wife and a mother of 3, and I am a crochet ambassador. This began some years ago when I could not find a white-collar job. I had done a course in IT. I looked for jobs everywhere and I could not find one. So I had a lot of time in my hands, and I had an idea to do crochet.
So we have a WhatsApp group. There are about 3 WhatsApp groups. They are actually full. We've been sharing information, consulting, and just encouraging each other. But surprisingly, the challenges we've been experiencing are similar. So we just try to find a way of managing our challenges. Then all of a sudden there's a challenge coming up, and that is organized by the Hazina Institute.
We realized that many people had lost their jobs. Some businesses were downsizing or closing, and therefore people were at home. Plus we had the government directives for people to work at home and avoid so much going outside. And we thought this would be a good initiative, not just to keep people busy, but also to deal with their mental health.
The most basic stitch is a chain stitch, where you just yarn over and then pull through that knot. Yarn over.
Welcome back. You're watching TV 47 News Tonight. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is always TV47 News Tonight. Now, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nordin Haji, wants to challenge the decision of the High Court that has barred the arrest and prosecution of LSK President Nelson Havi of allegations of assault. High Court Judge Jaira Zanga issued the conservatory orders restraining the state from further arrests or prosecutions of Havi, as Paul Kirobi now reports.
The Director of Criminal Investigations, Nordin Haji, now says he will challenge the decision of the High Court that barred the arrest and prosecution of LSK President Nelson Havi. DPP says the order were issued prematurely. The High Court temporarily barred the DCI and the Inspector General of Police from arresting or prosecuting LSK President Nelson Havi for allegedly assaulting suspended CEO Mercy Wambua. Justice Jaira Zanga issued the conservatory orders restraining the state from further arrest or prosecution of the applicant for alleged offences connected with the allegations made by Mercy Wambua.
The DPP did not present the court file, and therefore our client could not be presented or charged before court today.
On Tuesday afternoon, LSK President Nelson Havi's lawyer Bryant Kaemba moved to court to seek orders barring the DPP, IG and DCI from arresting or prosecuting the LSK boss. Havi was arrested on Tuesday afternoon and later released on a 10,000 shillings police bond.
Constitution is expressed. Before you go and arrest somebody, the evidence should have been collected, so that when you arrest him, you present him for purposes of continuing with the prosecution.
He is alleged to have assaulted the LSK CEO Mercy Wambua on Monday morning during a council member meeting at their offices. The embattled CEO, in the company of her lawyer Steve Ogola, recorded a statement at the Mudangari police station stating that Havi accosted her in the boardroom where she was to have a meeting. According to court documents filed in court, Kaemba says his client was arrested and was scheduled to take a plea this morning over Wambua's complaint that was just rumors. The lawyer argued that the arrest and intention to prosecute Havi is a contravention of his fundamental rights to a fair trial, fair administrative action, and amounts to an abuse of the legal process. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, moving on, the families of 4 men abducted by unknown persons from Nyeri and Nyandarua counties will have to wait for another 7 days for the start of a hearing of a petition they filed to compel the national government to produce their kin. And as Micah Gwongo now reports, the application filed by the affected families through their lawyer Moho Gishimu enlists the DCI and the Inspector General of Police and KWS as the defendants in this case.
In a habeas corpus application filed on behalf of Panadwa Johi, Samuel Gasha, Isaac Mwagi, and Wilson Mwagi, the family wants the government to come out clear on the whereabouts of the 4. The lawyer's quest to serve the Inspector General Hilary Mutiambai also flopped, as he was told that Vigilance House was being fumigated, and therefore his application could not be received. Justice Florence Mushemi directed that the council serve the 2 for the case to go on together.
We have extended time because the application cannot proceed without you serving the others. So we have to move together.
However, Munga Disho, appearing for KWS, requested more time to file a response and was granted 7 days. The case will be heard on July 28.
And I was prepared to make an application under Order 50 Rule 6 for this court to extend time within which I'm supposed to comply with that order.
The 4 men are among 5 who were abducted in the public in a dramatic fashion in Nyeri and Nyandarua counties over 2 weeks ago. No official communication from the police has been issued. For TV47, I'm Mike Kagwongo.
Now, grief has engulfed Molo Edgewood village in Subukia constituency after a mother and her 3 children perished in a house inferno this morning. Nakuru County Police Commander Beatrice Kiraguri said that only 2 of the 6 occupants managed to escape from the burning house. The 2 had dashed out of the house after their clothes partly caught fire and raised alarm. The mother, Jacinta Wamushi, died alongside her children, Mary Wanjiru, aged 6, Harrison Derangu, aged 3, and Elijah Nderangu, aged 1.
Nilisikia duru asubuhi kama saa 12, kutoka nje nikaona moshi. Nikakibia mahali hapa na nilipofika nilikuta watu wamefika. Mimi siwezi bio sana, ni mzee. Lakini wale niliwakuta wamefika walikuwa wametoa watoto ambao walikuwa wameugua.
Kufika kwangu nje nikakuta moto imeenea kila pahali. Sasa ndio nilianza kupiga duru, jirani naye akapiga duru. Sasa tukaanza kuchibua mahali watoto walikuwa wamelala. Kwanza kuchibua ndio mmoja jirani anaitwa Kalubeta ndiye alikuja akaanza kutoa hao watoto, lakini walikuwa wameugua. Walikuwa watoto 3 na mama yao, lakini walikuwa wameugua kabisa, lakini hawa wengine 2 walikuwa nje.
Now, cancer survivors have called for increased access to medical care, saying equipping sub-county hospitals with adequate medicine and specialists will go a long way in containing the cancer problem in the country. Speaking during a cancer management forum in Meru County, the survivors have urged the government to consider waiving charges for cancer medication in an effort to cushion vulnerable families. Cancer ranks as one of the topmost killer disease in the country.
Dawa iko na bei kali. Dawa haipatikani, hata ikiwa na hiyo bei kali haipatikani pale hospitali. Kwa hivyo haya ni mambo ambayo na sio hapa tu tumeyasikia, hii mambo tunayasikia kila mahali. Kwa hivyo hii ni mambo tunafikiria tutaenda tupelekee waziri wetu na PS wetu, na wataketi chini, wataona kama ingine itabidi pelekwe bunge la taifa, ndio hiyo mambo ibadilishwe.
Kweli janga la kansa linazidi kuenea na tunapata kuwa wanawake, wanaume pia watoto wanakumbwa sana na hii ugonjwa ya kansa, na tungetaka kujua zaidi, na kuna mikakati ambayo inafanywa kufanya utafiti kujua ni nini haswa linafanya Wakenya wanakumbwa na kansa, tuseme kama ya koo, kansa ya eneo zingine za mwili, ambapo tungejaribu tuondoe hilo jambo ambalo linasababisha kansa.
Well, let's take a look at some business news, and there has been a relief at the pump as fuel prices remain unchanged in this month's review by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The prices remain the same despite the rising cost of crude oil attributed to the growing demand of the mineral as the world struggles to recover from the effects of COVID-19. Now, a litre of petrol will retail at 120 shillings in Nairobi, 125 shillings in Mombasa, and 127 shillings in Nakuru. Automotive diesel will cost its consumers 107.66 in Nairobi, 105.27 in Mombasa, and 107.55 in Nakuru. Kerosene prices remain at 97.85 in Nairobi, 95.46 in Mombasa, and 97.76 in Nakuru. The cost of fuel remains even owing to the state subsidy that was implemented 3 months ago. Now, the hospitality industry in Baringo County is set to reap huge profits from the anticipated Rhino Charge slated to take place on the 17th of this month. Now, annual motorsport event that raises funds for the conservation and protection of Kenya's mountain range ecosystems has raised over 1.6 billion shillings in the past. Bogoria Spa General Manager Lydia Denteo says the industry is on a path to recovery from the effects of COVID-19 owing to the positive outlook evidenced by the facility's August and September bookings.
There's a Rhino Charge happening here in Baringo, and our facility, we have benefited from visitors coming in to stay in, those who are not putting up inside the camp. The holiday is, the short holiday is coming up, and we have good bookings for families and also for groups. We are hopeful that this will continue in the long run, as evidenced by the bookings we have for the month of August and September, not only from the local clients, but also from the international clients.
Well, it is indeed a boost to the tourism industry in the country as well as the hospitality industry. It is time to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. And our sportsman Dennis Otieno is on standby on the other side of the studio. Good evening.